Hey YouTube, it's your boy Danny, and we have a new guest on our show,
Gibbles. How you doing, guys?
Mr. Gibbles. We've mentioned him before, the man, the myth, the legend, Gibbles Jumpman Trujillo. He's here. We have a special deck profile for you all today, a deck that's very near and dear to his heart. You want to go ahead and explain what it is?
Yeah, so guys, today we're going to be doing a deck profile on Lunalights, which is something you probably don't see a lot of. But me, a little bit more myself, I like to play rogue decks. So something like this is something I love to play, and it's something that I played basically since it's come out. So, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
You can hand me the cards, I'll hold them up, and you can talk about them.
All right. So first off, the 3 ofs, which is basically the main thing of the deck, main monster, Collido Chick. That's you want to see that in your hand just about every turn. Pretty nice effect when it's normal summoned. You can send one Lunalight monster either from your deck or your extra deck. You send it to the graveyard, and then Collido Chick becomes that monster. So, self-explanatory. Usually, when we get to the extra deck, I'll explain a little bit more how the combos go. But it's your 3 of. You always want to play 3 of. Never want to hear anything less than that. Okay. Next ones we go into are Blue Cats, our Lunalight Blue Cats. Also another 3 of. And like on Collido Chick, they're level 4s, so you run 3 of, so that way you can go into rank 4s, really good. Her, with her effect, when she's special summoned by basically any effects, you can target one Lunalight in the field, double its attack until the end of the turn, which is amazing. Late game, you can beef up your big, extra deck monsters, double them up, and push for game, pretty much. Another 3 of we'll go into our Lunalight Tigers, our Pendulum monsters. And the reason I run 3 of these is for the sole reason of its Pendulum effect, which is once per turn you can target one Lunalight in your graveyard, and you can special summon it onto the field. Unfortunately, it can't attack and it has its effects negated, but the fact that you have another Lunalight on the field is what you're looking for at the end of the day. So that's why I run 3 of her. And plus, when she gets destroyed, when she's in the monster zone and she gets destroyed, it basically just shuffles, not shuffles, it, what's the word I'm thinking about? It kind of recycles, like you get a special summon another Lunalight out, so you always have one on the field.
It tutors out another Lunalight.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's why you run through 3 of her. Also, another one which people who played Lunalights before might be Spectacle. I played 3 White Rabbits. A lot of people don't. You play it at 1, you play it at 2. But the reason I played it at 3, for the reason that it's essentially a motivating captain for the deck. So if you don't know, motivating captain, when it's normal summon, you can special summon basically a warrior from your graveyard onto the field. And that's the same thing White Rabbit does. When she's normal summoned, you can target one Lunalight in your graveyard, and you can special summon in defense position onto your field. And the cool thing about that is there's no restrictions on what Lunalight you can special summon. So if you have one of your big Lunalight fusion monsters in your graveyard, you normal summon Rat Rabbit, use her effect, and you can actually special summon one of your fusion monsters from your graveyard onto the field. Which late game could be a big help, because if you're looking for big names, if you're looking for certain things, it's great to go into. So that's why we run 3 of her. Now we go 2 ofs. I run 2 Lunalight Wolf. We run 2, 1 because it's a level 6, so it's not easier to summon. And 2, unlike the other ones, you really can't search this one out. So getting it on the field isn't as easy. But you run 2 of because of its Pendulum effect. So what this Pendulum effect is when you can target monsters in your graveyard or in your hand, and you can fusion summon using that materials, but instead of them going to the graveyard, they get banished instead. So, great effect.
Miracle fusion of the deck.
Essentially, yeah. The only bad thing is, like, with this deck, once you banish the monsters, there's no really way to get them back. So this is kind of like the last resort to use, but very, very helpful if all your materials are in the graveyard. Another 2 we go into is Lunalight Black Sheep. I love Black Sheep at 2. I wouldn't play it more at 3. Like, I wouldn't play it at 1. 2 is perfect. Great effect. When she's in your hand, you can pitch her to the graveyard, and either add a Lunalight from your graveyard, I believe, to your hand, or you can search for a Poly in your deck and add it to your hand. So the fact that you're able to actually search Poly out of your deck, especially first turn, is phenomenal in my opinion. Is amazing. That's why I run 2 of. And then also another thing with her effects, when you go back to let me see, when you go back to White Rabbit, when you go back to her, you can pitch her effect to add Poly. Then you can normal summon White Rabbit. When you normal summon White Rabbit, you can summon Black Sheep in defense, and you can Poly. And when you Poly off of Black Sheep's effect, when she's used as a fusion material monster, you can actually add a Lunalight monster from your graveyard to your hand. So you can actually recycle White Rabbit for your next turn. And also an effect I forgot to mention off of White Rabbit, when she's on the field, you can actually use her effect, and depending on how many Lunalights you have on the field, you can actually bounce back spells and traps that are on the field. So it's a good way too to get rid of back row before you start going into your big monsters, to go into your OTK plays and things like that. And the last 2 Lunalights we're gonna go into are their one ofs. We're gonna go into Crimson Fox and Purple Butterfly. Crimson Fox I don't use too much. She's kind of just there as a name. That's pretty much what I use her for. But Purple Butterfly has a pretty good effect. You can send her from your hand to the graveyard. You can target one Lunalight on the field, and it gains 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. Awesome in my opinion. It's a great effect. But I wouldn't run her more at 1, just because she can get kind of cloggy. And late game, you really don't want to see her, because if you don't have a Lunalight in the field, then her effect kind of becomes useless. And then also another one of her effects is you can actually send her from, you can actually banish her from your graveyard to special summon a Lunalight, I believe, from your hand. But also is a great effect. But like I said, I don't run it more than 1, but it's up to you. It's your preference. And then the last monsters we're going to go into, into our Kaijus. Kaijus are Kaijus, guys. Like, you know how it works. You have the Thunder King for when you essentially tribute for Raiden. It brings out a bigger monster. I mean, everyone knows how Kaijus work. So
yeah, Kaijus are Kaijus.
Kaijus are Kaijus.
So play your Kaijus, and that's not to say that you have to play these Kaijus. You can play any Kaijus. I would opt for Gamma Seals and Doggerons and different cards like that. And remember, y'all, our decks are stepping stones for your own ideas. So take the ratios with the little bit of humbleness, I guess, a little bit.
Like and like Danny mentioned, like, these are just our opinions. This is what we like for us. This is what plays better for us. Everyone has different opinions, so guys, don't take it to heart. You don't have to play it exactly like this, but this is just kind of a blueprint to how Lunalight should be played, or things like that.
So now for the spells.
One of the better spells, I believe, in this deck to begin with, Perfume. Oh my goodness, Perfume is one of my favorite spells, basically of all time. It's essentially a monster reborn for the deck. So you can target one Lunalight in your graveyard, and you can special summon it onto the field. Amazing. There's no restrictions, nothing. That's what you do. You have your fusion monsters in the graveyard, you special summon it, and you can go ham. A second effect is you can actually banish it from your graveyard. Banish it from your graveyard and then add a Lunalight to your hand. So this is one way you can actually add Lunalight. Wolf. Yeah, sorry about that. Lunalight Wolf. One ways you can add it to hand. But really good. I would run 3, no less than 3. Another really good one, but you have to play 3 of Fire Formation Tenki. Essentially, it just searches out your Lunalights, plain and simple. Get your Kaleido Ticks, get your your Blue Cats. That's all there is to say. You need 3 of. Next, what would be a fusion deck if you didn't run polys? Self-explanatory. 3 polys. Use them. This is basically your heart and soul of the deck. So for another 3 of, we run 3 Allure Darkness. Or I run 3 Allure Darkness. Guys, everything in this deck other than the Pendulum monsters are dark monsters. So you're always going to have a dark monster in hand. So you're never going to... Basically, you're never going to... Yeah, you're never gonna. Up, like you're never gonna end up banishing your hand or sending your hand to the graveyard, because you're always gonna have a dark monster in hand. And with this deck, guys, I'll tell you right now, like you're gonna need as much draw power as you can. So running Lord Darkness, 3 ofs. If you want to play it at 2, you can play it at 2, but I play it at 3 just so that way I have it, so that way I have that draw power. So guys, play it how you want to play it. Next, we run 3 ofs. Pot of Desires. Talk about draw power. Talk about Neg 9. Fantastic. Pot of Desires. Everyone knows what Pot of Desires do. You banish 10, face down. You draw 2. Late game, you really don't want to see it. So if you're gonna play it, I play it at 3. Like I said, for the draw power, but play it at 2. You can play it at 2. And there's no...
I'd even say starting up with this format, with this new format, going into the Thunder Dragon format, you could even probably play it at 1.
Exactly.
Because we're going to experiment, and I'm not saying that Thunder Dragon format's going to be slow, because it's probably going to be really fast, but we have to experiment and see where the format's going to go. We have I believe Orphagels is what the names are, and then we have the Cyber Dragons, the rise of the Cyber Dragons again. So experiment with your ratios on your draw power. Keep in mind, this card is a Neg 9, but it's a good Neg 9 in my opinion.
There's no worse feeling than using Pot of Desires and banishing 2 or 3 of your polys, and you essentially just have to scoop it up. So going on to the next one. These next cards are basically going to be self-explanatory, so we'll go through them really quick. 2 Hate Trunades. You can run Twin Twisters if you want in that position. I run Hate Trunades. A lot of people run traps. Your Solemns, your Solemn Brigades, things like that. So I run 2 of those. I wouldn't run any more than that, but I run those. Hand traps. I don't run hand traps, but Caught Above the Graves, good for hand traps, negating hand traps. This deck really doesn't do too well against hand traps. Like I said, we need your draw power, because if not, you're just gonna brick, and you're not gonna be able to go into your monsters that you need to go into. So the fact that you can negate Ashes, Ghost Ogres is gonna be top priority to get your big monsters out, so that way you can go for game. Then we're going to some one-ofs. One of them I run Fire Formation Tensu. You don't have to run it, but I like the fact that it's essentially a double summon. Because
that extra 100, right?
And then the extra 100, really cool. And I run it for the reason that the monsters essentially don't summon themselves out or special summon themselves out. Like, you have to use your normal summon for each one. So having a double summon actually really helps get you an extra summon, so that way you can extend your plays, and you can go into your monsters, and you don't have to sit here and wait another turn to go into another monster.
Gibbles Spicy Tech.
My Spicy Tech. Next one I play Cattle Call. It's plain and simple Cattle Call. You send 1 fusion, or you tribute 1 monster in the field. You summon 1 fusion monster from your deck that has the same type. Like I said, guys, everything in this deck is dark type. So the fact that you're able to summon a fusion monster from your graveyard, or from your extra deck, is a big help, and you guys will see in a little while why that's the case. Dark Hole, obviously. Dark Hole Raigeki, plain simple, to the point. Monster removal.
I actually find with this deck, Dark Hole is a little bit better because you have your monsters engraved that you can fusion summon with.
Exactly.
Where you blow up the field and then you can just fusion summon with them engrave with Wolf. So it's not a bad idea running Dark Hole if you're a budget player yourself. Keep in mind this deck is very budget and this deck is very budget friendly.
Exactly.
To be honest, me and Gibbles made this deck by buying 2 boxes of Shining Victories, and we just accidentally were like, "Hey, let's make a deck."
Yeah. And the last one, guys, which is another spicy tech that I've thrown in here. And this one I've kind of messed around with here and there, taking it out, put it back in. But the last one I'm going to play is Match Change 2. You might be saying, like, oh my goodness, why are you playing Match Change? Like, what is that for? Like I said, guys, everything is Dark type. If somehow you can't go into your Lunalight fusion monsters and you have this in hand, Dark Law is big, especially this format. Dark Law is going to get big. So Match Change 2, you tribute a dark monster and you go into Dark Law. And you can sit on it, and your opponent's just going to have to play around it, or he's just going to have to start sending stuff, like banishing stuff instead of sending stuff to the graveyard. So I believe Match Change 2 is very good in this deck. So that's another spicy tech that I run there. So that's it for the main deck. It's a 40-card main deck. Pretty plain and simple. Like I said, guys, everything's up for preference. You don't have to run. The ratios are run, but it's just a blueprint to how you're going to play it. And then that also goes for the same thing for the extra deck, which we're going to show right now. It's just a vague extra deck. There's anything crazy about it. But I feel like these cards actually help a lot with the formats that we're in and helping with like spot removal, monster removal, and things like that. So first off, we're going to go into our first Lunalight monster, which is our Lunalight Blue Cat. I like Blue Cat. She can't be destroyed by battle. Plain and simple. She's at 2400 attack. He just requires 2 Lunalight monsters. It's plain and simple. Usually this is the one you want to go into like first turn if you can, for the reason that you can sit on it, and like I said, it can't be destroyed by battle, so you can sit on it for a little while until you're able to get up more resources to go into your bigger monsters. Next one we go into is Panther Dancer.
I noticed that Panther Dancer had a little bit of a spike because of the fusion support that's going to be coming out. So get them while you can. They're still like $5 or $6. I remember these specific ones I got for Gibbles. They were $2.
Yeah, when they came out, they were like $2, $3.
They were like $2 or $3. Gibbles, anything you want to say about the card?
Panther Dancer, really good card. I prefer this one over Cat Dancer if you're able to go into this one. One thing I will tell you about these Lunalight fusion monsters is with Cat Dancer, you can use any two Lunalight monsters to go into. With Panther Dancer, you have to use one Lunalight monster and one Lunalight Cat Dancer to go into. So essentially, the fusions are kind of like rank ups, if you want to see it that way.
It's like fusion scaling, fusion climbing.
Yeah, so really good. Now, my favorite one, which I love to go into just about all the time, which gives people migraines to go into, Lunalight Leo Dancer. Leo Dancer, it requires 2 regular Lunalight monsters and Panther Dancer. Now, it's a pain in the butt to go into, but at the same time, it's essentially kind of easy if you have the right cards to go into. But once you get it out, your opponent, especially first turn, your opponent's going to have a very hard time to get over it. Because one, it can't be destroyed by battle, can't be, I believe, targeted by card effects, and can't be destroyed by card effects.
It can only be it can only be destroyed by battle.
It can only be destroyed by battle. I mean, yeah.
But it's at 35.
But it's at 35.
That's a big. And then if you use Purple Butterfly,
Purple Butterfly's effects, it gains another 1,000. And another effect he has, he can actually attack twice per battle phase. So if somehow you're able to get your opponent's monsters off the field,
which is easy,
which is pretty easy,
because it blows up the field. It blows up all special summon monsters.
Yeah. So if you're able to blow up the field, get everything off the field, you can actually push for game that turn. Because if you're doing 35 or 35, you're doing 7,000 plus. If you gain 1,000 from Purple Butterfly, that's exactly 8,000 push for game So very good. If you can go into that, go into that. The last fusion I run, or no, the second to last fusion I run, Starving Venom. If you guys,
Interesting tech card that I wanted to talk about here. If I could cut Gibbles off
go
for
ahead.
a second. It's a very versatile card. The cards have to be face up on the field to use, but you would be amazed at how easy it is to get into. When it leaves the field, it blows up the field. Or special summon monsters.
All special summon monsters.
All special summon, which is blowing up the field basically. Because nowadays there's no such thing as normal summon. There really isn't. Like, another thing is it copies the name of a level 5 monster or higher, and then it gains half the attack of that monster.
No, it gains the attack, the full attack.
The full attack. Really powerful, really good support, really good fusion support. When this card came out, I remember it was a bitch to get. Like, it really was. I remember we paid $30 to get this one copy that we've had.
That's the only
forever.
one we ever gotten.
Yeah, that's the only one that we've had. Then it came out in the Megatins, and then it was like $5. So
very good card, guys. If you're somehow losing very badly at the end of the game, and you're able to go into Starving Venom, go into Starving Venom. What I like to do, which I know pisses people off, go into Starving Venom, and then just Dark Hole yourself, because then you can essentially just pop the field. I mean, Dark Hole essentially does that by itself.
And then it's like if you have monsters that have to be destroyed more than one time, which there are quite a few.
Yeah.
It's like absolute zero. It blows up the field.
Exactly. And the last fusion monster we go into, which you saw with the spicy tech earlier, one Dark Law. You know, self-explanatory. It's on the field. Your opponent has to banish monsters instead of sending them to the graveyard. Very good.
If your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, you can randomly banish a card out of their hand. Exactly. Good support. Good fusion support, I'd say. I would even opt to say that this is some of the best fusion support that's ever come out.
Exactly.
Really good card.
So I'm going to go into some of the other extra cards. I'm going to go into... I just run 2 links at the moment. I'm not too big on links because when you go into your fusions, you kind of sit on your fusions for a while until they get destroyed. So that's just me. That's just my opinion.
Another thing before we show the links, they're nothing extravagant. It's not like, a firewall, look out. Like, it's not like a firewall.
Yeah, no firewall, no board load, anything like that.
The thing is that with this deck, it's like link climbing, link laddering. You're fusion laddering, and it's really easy to fusion ladder into your other fusions and get like fusion climb and whatnot. So go ahead and show the links.
Okay. So the first one we're gonna go into pretty simple. Go into one Underclock Taker. Underclock Taker is amazing in my opinion. You can target one monster this card, or target the one card this card points to, I believe.
And then target another card.
Target the card on your opponent's field, and you decreases the attack points by that much of the targeted monster. So self-explanatory, very, very good, especially if you're going to push late game. If you happen to have this card out and you happen to go into your Leo Dancer, you're going to push. That opponent's going to take, that monster's going to lose 3,500 attack points to begin with. And if you're going to attack twice, you're going to win the duel. That's one of those. Then we can play pretty simple again. One Deco Talker, just for if you want to put a big beater on the board, it can self-protect itself.
Yeah, Deco Talker is a good card. I'd say that like the original bad boy himself here. I always say it, the original bad boy for Deco Talker. Protects itself like Gibbles was saying, and gets a nice little stat boost. Pretty good card. I can't say much else about it other than that, but it's dark type, so like you can mass change into it.
Exactly. Now we're going to go into the last few extra deck cards, and these are actually Xyz, and they're, in my opinion, the better Xyz to run in this deck. First one, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. This one,
it has saved him before, and it will save you if you play it. Yeah. It's an unorthodox card to play.
Yeah, like you don't have to play it, but I enjoy playing it for the reason that because I run 3 Tenkies and 1 Tensu, if you're able to go into Tiger King, you can actually search your fire formations if you need be. So In my opinion, very good card. Next one, we're going to go into Castell. I mean, shuffle one back into the deck. It's self-explanatory.
I mean, even the defense one, the one where it switches to defense, the
Exactly.
Book of Moon effect, that's
yeah,
even a good
that's
effect.
even a good one. Number 101, Silent Honor Arc.
Which a lot of people have been going crazy over this card, that it's been going up in price and that it's been having a spike. We're gonna start doing market watches, y'all. We're gonna start like analyzing the meta and seeing what's what for y'all. I say y'all because we're from Texas, so don't forget that we're from Texas. But remember, Silent Honor Arc's a powerful card. It steals a special summon monster, and then it can't be destroyed. Well, it can be destroyed, but you have to detach that monster.
Yeah, so after scooping up a monster, you can actually protect itself one turn before actually getting destroyed. So very good. And the last one we're going to go into, Abyss Dweller. The fact that you
end games. It just
exactly
ends
the fact that you can
games.
negate effects in the graveyard for a whole turn, amazing. Especially if you're going up against Mermills or things like that, you just negate all the effects in the graveyard, and then what can they do?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very good.
So that's gonna be it, guys. That's our profile here on Lunalights. We hope you liked it. We hope that we hope you miss Rudy. Rudy's out and about. It was his mom's birthday yesterday, and he didn't do anything with her. So now he's making up for it. But anyway, to call Rudy out, he doesn't watch these videos anyway, so it's fine. Anyway, donate to the Patreon, like our Facebook page, follow us, like, comment, subscribe. And also, if you're in the San Antonio, Texas area, catch us at the sneak peek for Soul Fusion coming up tomorrow, Saturday, October. What's the date?
It's gonna be October. Tomorrow will be October the 13th.
October 13th, Soul Fusion sneak peek. Catch us there. We're gonna vlog. We're gonna have our little camera set up, and we're gonna be there opening packs. If you see us, come say hi. If you want a shout out, come get your shout out. Whatever. And eventually, we're gonna make buttons and we're gonna make shirts for the Patreon donators. We've had one donator so far, gave me a quarter. So,
Woo! Big money over here.
Big money. So remember, y'all, catch us on turn 2.